Unrequited love is close. Its depth may not be understood. But if you ever move away from the flame of that love, then you will understand how much waiting is hidden between the two corners. Greetings, you are listening to the story of the night. The story of the night means a story that makes the mind feel good. I would like to tell you all about the new year. Wish you all a very happy new year. May everyone have a great time. In tonight's story, you will hear a story written by the writer Sudipta Ghosh. My heart goes out to you. Have you not subscribed to the channel yet? Hurry up and share the stories. Yes, let's start today's story. My heart knows you. Tina has been struggling with math problems since yesterday. She has no idea how to solve them. Tomorrow, maths teacher Sudeep sir will come. She has to solve them before him, but she doesn't understand how to do them properly. Although the sir showed her a couple of things, if there was a pickaxe, she would have used it at that time. She would have called Om a complete fool. He always gets his marks tied to 90% in maths. He got exactly 92% marks in the board exam. What happens to Tina? Sometimes she likes maths, but if she gets stuck somewhere, she can't get out. As if before she had immersed her mind in the pages of the notebook, a sneeze pulled her hair. She was startled to see that Piklu, alias Bitan, was standing in front of her with a mischievous smile. She thought to herself, I called the devil, and the devil appeared. But without saying anything, Tina shouted, Why did you pull my hair? I don't like it or anything, Piklu complained. He pulled Tina's notebook and said, I pulled your hair. I increased your intelligence a little. You're a fool. How many problems have you been unable to solve since yesterday? Are you fat? I heard from Auntie. Tina tried to pull the notebook from his hand in one go and failed. She got angry. Give me back my notebook. Don't tease me. If you can't do these, I will tell you tomorrow to sir. I would have fun playing with a broom. The one whose body doesn't enter my head should be scolded. Tina got even angrier and started shouting, Mom! Mom! Bithi ran out of the kitchen and saw their act and started scolding Tina. Hey Tina, what are you doing? Why don't you tell Pickle anything? You're only scolding me. I'm in trouble alone. Then Piklu's teasing. And why did you tell him? I can't solve maths. If you can't do my prestige, you can't do it. Tina was so proud. Come on, I can't take you with me anymore. Oops, the two of them have become children. They're fighting like Tom and Jerry all the time. They're not ashamed of you. Pickle came and asked what you were doing, so I told the truth. Who is there to be so prestigious about this? Vidhi got angry and started walking towards the kitchen. She laughed to herself as she walked towards the kitchen. These two always quarrel like birds. They live on the opposite side of Bithi's house since birth. The Pickles, with whom the Bithi family had a relationship like their own, were like their own people. 2 years after Pickles was born, Tina was born. When they came to see Tina, little Pickles gave her name in a half-hushed voice. Everyone laughed when they heard it. She still calls her by that name. However, even though she was 2 years younger, Tina called Pickles by her name. She never said anything to her. You tried to call her Pickles by calling her Pickles many times and failed. This Tina, alias, is a very stubborn girl from her childhood. When she was a child, Tina was like a doll, as if she couldn't help but caress everyone who came to see her. Even then, Pickles would be jealous. He would say that everyone only loves Petty. No one ever pinches my cheeks. Pona would laugh and say, Are your cheeks as round and plump as Tina's cheeks? Or do you want to pinch everyone else's cheeks when you see hers? Then, when they all went somewhere together, Pickles would hide Tina so that no one would touch her cheeks. Actually, Piklu used to consider Tina as his property when he was a child. Tina had now entered 11th standard, and Piklu was eagerly waiting for his chance to study engineering through the joint entrance exams. Despite the weight of their studies, the two continued their endless cycle of playful quarrels and teasing, a habit that seemed as ingrained as their very names. While both were still very much children in their interactions, it was Piklu who seemed to lag just a little behind Tina in terms of growing up. He made it a point to visit her house at least once every single day. These daily encounters were the stage for their most spirited arguments, yet within them lay a unique kind of joy that only Piklu and Tina truly understood. Tina too would sometimes go over to their place, but it was Piklu who was the more frequent guest at her home. Then, after what felt like an eternity of nervous anticipation, the results of the joint entrance exams were finally declared. That very night, Piklu arrived at Tina's doorstep, a small container filled with golden crispy fish fries clutched in his hand. The moment Tina saw him, she knew. She understood the unspoken reason for his visit, yet she remained silent, her curiosity held in check. As soon as Piklu stepped inside, his voice boomed with excitement. "Auntie! Auntie! Quick! Make coffee! Make coffee quickly! I've brought fish fries!" A delicate blush crept onto Tina's cheeks as she finally spoke, a playful lilt in her voice. "Oh really, Your Majesty? So the results of your grand joint entrance exam are out, are they?" "So," with such a loud voice Tina retorted, "it must have been a good result." Piklu strode confidently in front of Tina, placing his hands on his hips. He teased. "What are you doing? Stop it now. Who showed you the math, huh? I'll have to see that too. My master has arrived. Without your help, let's see if I still get 90%. Okay, show me your face. Let my ears hear your congratulations. I will be blessed. And you will stop your constant nagging. Whenever we meet, it's just quarrels. Can't a boy achieve good results in peace? You are the problem, Piklu. I'm getting coffee." No sooner had Piklu stepped out of the house than he stubbed his toe. In truth, it's hard for some people to bear witness to another's success. Jealousy had indeed flickered within him. Some nearby had overheard their exchange. Tina's nose bridge furrowed, and her eyes seemed to blaze with anger. Piklu, sensing her irritation, tried to placate her with a soft gaze from his too expressive eyes. "Auntie," Piklu called out, "how much further to the kitchen?" Bithi hurried towards it. Piklu and Tina continued to glare at each other, their eyes spitting fire. If Tina had caught him within reach, she would have certainly given him a piece of her mind. How did he manage to get such a good result in the joint entrance exam today? Soon after, Tina left home to study in Durgapur. Piklu felt a deep sense of unease when she departed. Not only was she now physically distant, but he also couldn't even provoke Tina's anger anymore. That, he realized, was the biggest pain of all. In a moment of raw emotion, Tina had blurted out, "I'll be better off if you stay away from me. I won't have to see a scoundrel's face every day." Hearing this, Vidhi had started scolding her daughter. Piklu's mother, Porna, had gently pulled Tina away. Vidhi, still fuming, had said to Porna, "You've spoiled this girl so much. You see, the way she talks back? That boy is becoming ruder and ruder because of her." Porna calmly replied, "You're absolutely right about their bickering. But she's not a bad girl, Vidhi. She's not a troublemaker. Your daughter is just as feisty. They're two of a kind, those two." Tina then playfully started hitting Piklu, and Vidhi and Porna had to step in to separate them. The next day, Tina left for Durgapur. Although she promised to come back once a month, Tina soon realized how much she actually missed him. For Piklu, there was now a strange quiet. No one to constantly bother him. The big board exams were drawing closer. But Tina often found her thoughts drifting to Piklu, and how much better he could have done if he had applied himself more to his studies. Sometimes this bad boy, as she affectionately thought of him, would intrude on her thoughts. "What was the real reason for your going to Durgapur? Are you not studying here, or is there someone else? Did you go there just to escape me?" She couldn't quite decipher her own feelings. And those math problems, how easily he would have solved them if he were there. A burning sensation filled Tina's eyes, a prelude to tears. They would sometimes talk on the phone, but their conversations were mostly filled with playful banter. Where was the seriousness? Their connection, however, was deepening day by day, though it often felt hidden beneath their teasing. These days, Tina had a nagging feeling that Piklu was drifting away, becoming unreachable. When her exam results were finally announced, it turned out that Tina had passed with a commendable 4%. The most surprising thing was that her highest score was in maths. When Piklu heard this, he called to congratulate her, saying with a chuckle, "Well, I got so many marks because I used to do your math for you. Otherwise, I doubt I would have even gotten 5 marks myself." Tina retorted playfully, "Yes, right, and all those who saw your notebook were your friends, so they probably gave you marks just thinking of me." Tina decided to pursue a degree in statistics. Despite his consistent high marks in maths, Piklu also got admitted to St. Jovial's College, choosing statistics as his honors subject. When Piklu came to Durgapur, the 4 of them, presumably Tina, Piklu and perhaps 2 other friends, went out for a stroll. One day, a morning dawned in Taunki. While riding in a boat, Piklu playfully shook Tina's comb, causing her hair to fall loose. He then said, a hint of concern in his voice, now our problem has become even bigger. She's been admitted to college again. Is it the same Devi Das college? After going to college, she won't tell anyone what's going on in her mind. She won't care about anyone anymore. She'll just think, is that him? Or is that me? She'll become the heart of the college. Everyone around them laughed in agreement, saying, yes. Dinar, another person in their group, had fallen asleep and didn't respond. Tina herself didn't answer Piklu. She couldn't even fully understand why she often felt so annoyed and haughty towards him. Parma, Piklu's mother, smiled knowingly at Piklu and teased, well, did you come all the way from Durgapur just to chase after her? She then mimicked Tina, saying, who else even cares about your precious Nandini? Then, switching back to her own voice, Parma added, except me, that's why she barely keeps her feet on the ground. Piklu looked at Tina in a way that made her blush, then turned his gaze towards the sky, a gentle smile on his face. Piklu couldn't help but smile again himself. It seemed Piklu really could. Piklu had sent a photo of a beautiful girl from Durgapur to Tina, writing, my girlfriend Rishita, doesn't she look great? A pang of jealousy burned in Tina's chest, and she couldn't bring herself to reply. Piklu, sensing her reaction, sent Tina an angry emoji. Sometimes, just thinking about Rishita, her head would feel hot with resentment. The girl must be with Piklu all the time, she thought. But these days, Piklu didn't mention Rishita at all. When Tina occasionally asked him about her, Piklu would simply send back a smile emoji. That was it. Tina had now finished her college studies and was considering pursuing her M.Tech. She had told Piklu about her plans. Piklu, of course, wasn't looking for anything like that. With her graduation complete, campus placements were underway. It was time for Tina to build her own career. Time had flown by swiftly, like a river. Now it was time to see what the future held. This time, during college placements, Piklu secured a good job. In a few days he would be moving to Gurgaon. He came home for the Holi vacation to meet everyone. On the morning of Holi, Piklu approached Tina with a handful of colored powder, ready to playfully smear it on her face, but he stopped, utterly surprised by her appearance. Piklu looked pale and lifeless. There were dark circles under her eyes. Why had she suddenly become like this? Even after his repeated inquiries, Tina simply said, no, nothing happened to me. I'm just not feeling too well. Don't worry about it. Leave it. It's your Holi. What's the news about her? You're going to Gurgaon. She must be upset, Tina asked, a faint, almost forced smile on her face. It's not like that. I'm going because it's my job, Piklu replied. Is he becoming too career-focused? Tina wondered. Besides, he himself is planning to go abroad for his MBA. A friendship is just like any other 5 friends. Then, a sharp thought. So why did you send me that photo and call her your girlfriend? You sent it to make me angry. You haven't been able to get a boyfriend for so long. You have no qualities. You're such a sweaty person. What kind of work did you even do after graduating from college? She then repeated a saying she'd heard. Those who are indecisive lose in everything their whole life. Tina's words took Piklu by complete surprise. He was speechless, nothing making sense in his mind. He didn't apply any color to Tina. The color in his hand remained there, unused. Seeing Tina's condition, Piklu had lost all desire to celebrate with color, and Tina herself didn't put any color on Piklu either. It was a stark contrast to earlier Holis, where on the day of the swing, the two of them used to smear colors on each other like playful ghosts. Playing with colors had always been great fun for both of them. Later, when he got home, Piklu asked his mother why Tina's face had become so gaunt. Why did she look so unwell? Purna couldn't give him a clear answer. I've asked them many times, she said. They just keep saying she's not feeling well. I also don't understand it. The girl was like a flower, and she's withering away day by day. She mentioned wanting to study for her M.Tech now, but she didn't get admission anywhere. Bidsti and her husband Sukanta also seemed very sad. Seeing their relationship for so long, Purna continued, but now I don't understand why they seem to be avoiding us, and I can't push too much. But thinking about Tina makes my heart ache. There's nothing we can do though. We used to have such a close connection, visiting each other every day. Once, when Purna and Vivek went to Tina's house, none of them seemed the same as before. Everyone appeared incredibly sad, but no one would say anything specific. Their conversations were brief and strained. Piklu could sense that something had happened to Tina, something they were trying to hide. He was puzzled. Maybe Tina was dealing with some health issue, but he couldn't find out any details. There was a time when they could trust each other with anything, but now, how had their relationship deteriorated so much? The strong bond between their two families seemed to have broken down so quickly. Piklu couldn't understand it at all. He returned to Gurgaon the next day and became very busy with his new job, settling into his accommodation. A few days passed in this whirlwind of activity. Piklu and his office colleague Vijayata became very close friends. Although Vijayata was not Bengali, they found they had a lot in common in their way of thinking, and it didn't take long for their bond to become special. After work, the two of them would often hang out together. There was a time when calling his mother once every night was an unmissable part of Piklu's routine. But these days he would talk to his mother every 3 or 4 days. Purna noticed a hint of pride in her son's voice when he spoke about his work and Vijayata. Although Piklu didn't consciously dwell on these things anymore, the image of the girl named Tina gradually began to fade from his daily thoughts. One day his mother was about to mention Tina in passing, but Piklu quickly changed the subject, and Purna didn't pursue it further. It had been 6 months since Piklu had last visited home. When Purna mentioned this, her son replied, "I can't come except during Diwali. Where's the holiday now? Diwali is still so far away. I won't be able to come again before then." Purna hadn't seen her son in so long, and her heart grew quite heavy. These days, his WhatsApp profile picture showed him with a girl. Purna didn't even ask him about it. She felt a bit uneasy, worried that something might be amiss with her son. That day, Piklu's father, Vivek, asked Purna about their son. "Have you been hearing from him as often as before? I don't think he's that busy. I don't think he gets that much time off. I guess the workload is increasing day by day." Later that day, while going to the office, Purna saw Tina. When she asked Sukanta where the three of them were going, he replied, "We need to see a doctor." When Purna pressed for more information, he seemed to avoid her gaze. "Yes," Purna thought, "I've been seeing them like this for a few months now." Piklu also mentioned something similar during Holi. "But when I look at Tina, she seems to be withering away more and more each day. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. I'm so worried about the girl. But if they're not telling me anything, I have to respect that." Today was Tina's birthday. It wasn't Piklu's fault, but he thought it was still too early in the morning to wish Tina. He hadn't called her in a long time, and Tina hadn't called him either. She must be very angry with him, he thought. But when he finally called, his phone showed that her number was switched off. Who knows what had happened? This was unusual. Her phone was never switched off. It remained switched off for 3 days in a row. He called his mother and told her about it. Purna was also surprised to hear this. She didn't know anything either. She promised, "I'll find out what happened." But after that, Piklu couldn't remember anything else. He had also completely forgotten that there was an urgent meeting scheduled in his office that day. His phone was on silent. After the meeting, he went out and saw that it was 2 o'clock. He had to go to lunch. First, he needed to switch his phone from silent mode to normal. When he took the phone in his hand, he was surprised by the number of missed calls from his mother. Mom never called him during office hours. What could have happened that she called so many times? Piklu's heart pounded with worry. As soon as she answered, his mother's voice broke with sobs. "Today suddenly, your father fainted in the office. He was taken to the hospital straight from there. The doctor said it was a cerebral attack. They found a blood clot in his brain. He hasn't regained consciousness yet. Tina's parents are here with me, but I don't know what will happen if you don't come. I am very scared. If your father doesn't regain consciousness." She trailed off, her voice choked with tears. Piklu tried to reassure his mother, his own voice trembling slightly. "Don't worry, mother. I will try to book the earliest flight from London. Nothing will happen to him. He will be fine. Please don't worry." Piklu had no time to spare. He quickly wrote a message for Vijayata and left. He rushed from his office straight to the Kolkata airport and reached the hospital. He saw his mother with Biti auntie, Sukant uncle, and 2 of his father's office colleagues. In these few short hours, his mother seemed to have aged considerably. Seeing Piklu, she hugged him tightly and began to cry again. "You're crying, mother? Nothing will happen to him. Here, I'm here now. Mother is here too. I will take care of everything. Mother, please don't be tense. Don't be tense at all. Try to stay calm." At his son's words, She managed to compose herself a little. His father had regained consciousness, but he was still disoriented. Piklu then told everyone to go home and rest. He would stay at the hospital for now and would only return home after speaking with the doctor. Of course, his mother wanted to stay with him, but due to Piklu's insistence and the general chaos of the hospital, she reluctantly returned home. Piklu didn't eat anything the entire day. His mother knew he must be hungry, having just arrived. She would cook something for him when he came home later. Dr. Soman Baggy came for his rounds at 9 that night. Piklu spoke to him at length. The doctor explained, "For now, your father is out of immediate danger, but there's a blood clot in his brain. We will try to dissolve it with medication. We can't say anything more definitive today. We'll need to make a decision about further treatment in 2 days." Late at night, Piklu finally returned from the hospital. Around 11, mother and son sat down to eat. Purna felt as if she was sharing a meal with her son after a very long time. She cherished these moments, however brief they might be. She couldn't help but notice that Piklu looked exhausted and a little thin. He seemed to sense his mother's concern. Just then, Piklu's phone rang. He excused himself, took the phone, and went into the next room, speaking in a low voice. Purna could overhear snippets of his conversation. "Hey my dear, I'm in so much trouble. Father, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm at the hospital. Hey my mother, you're so worried. Hey my dear, tell me. Okay, alright, good night." Is this the girl who called? The one whose picture he has as his WhatsApp DP? Purna wondered. She didn't want to pry. She simply said, "Today has been very tiring for you. Go to bed quickly. Dad isn't feeling well, so I'll lie down now too." Piklu's father didn't require surgery. The doctors successfully removed the blood clot in his brain with medication and injections. After about 5 days, he was well enough to return home. 7 days later, Piklu went back to his workplace in Gurgaon. In all these days, he hadn't seen Tina even once. He had inquired about her, hearing that her parents had visited, but Tina herself never came. A pang of something akin to pride, or perhaps hurt, resonated within Piklu. Tina must have known he was here, yet she hadn't come to see him. Why would Tina do this? He also deliberately avoided mentioning Tina. But why did his mind keep replaying her image? Maybe he didn't even know what to call this feeling. Out of sight, out of mind. These days the pressure of work kept his mind occupied. Piklu's working hours now seemed to stretch around the clock. That day, his sister and her husband came to visit from Vijay's house. They mentioned that Biglu, presumably a nickname for Piklu, had met them at a cafe. They had gathered from their conversation that Vijayata's family was very traditional, and if not Marathi, marriages outside their community were not allowed. Piklu sat there, his face falling, not quite understanding why he was being told all this. His friend had started a relationship with him knowing everything, so if something like this arose, he could easily step away. After their conversation, his mood worsened. He mumbled an apology and left. Piklu hadn't spoken to his mother for a few days. He was so busy. Even his mother didn't call, knowing how occupied he was. Piklu finally called his mother when he found a moment. It was now 12:30 at night. He had just finished some work and closed his laptop, intending to fall asleep listening to an Arijit Singh song. But sleep eluded him, and then his mother's phone rang at this late hour. Piklu was quite surprised. 12:30 a.m. was nothing unusual for him, but his mother was usually asleep by this time, especially after his father's illness, a routine she followed diligently. Worried that something was wrong, he picked up the phone with a heavy heart and said in a slightly strained voice, "Yes, Mom?" His mother's voice was filled with distress. "You know what happened at dinner, Piklu? It feels like I've been so preoccupied all this time I haven't known anything. I haven't had any proper contact with them. Piklu, Tina has been diagnosed with a breast tumor. It happened quite a while ago." As she said this, her sobs returned. Piklu was stunned by the news. What was this she was telling him? And was this why they had been avoiding everyone for so long? "Why were you so quiet, Mom? Why weren't you saying anything? I'm calling you after your father finally fell asleep. I can't tell him all this in front of him," she explained. Piklu asked in a choked voice, "When was she diagnosed?" "It must have been quite some time ago. Months maybe. They didn't want to tell anyone. The treatment has been ongoing for so long. The doctors had assured them that she would get better. But now, the doctor has clearly said that they will have to operate on her left breast and remove it. The sooner it's done, the better." Tina was devastated after I found out about this from our maid Minty, who also works at Tina's house. I felt so ashamed, knowing how much they cared about us, yet they didn't want to burden anyone with this news. Mintu overheard their conversation, and since then, Tina has been crying a lot. I couldn't keep quiet any longer, even though I felt I was betraying their trust. I went to their house in the afternoon to see the girl. She hugged me and cried with Soma. My heart was breaking. What will happen to her? I can't even imagine when Tina's operation will be. Do you know the date? Yes, his mother replied. Next week, on the 17th. Okay, I'll leave now, Piklu said, his voice heavy. He hung up the phone. Piklu couldn't sleep a wink that night. Every time he closed his eyes, only one phrase echoed in his ears. Tina has a breast tumor. She will have to have an operation to remove her left breast. Knowing this, the girl he had known since childhood must be utterly devastated. Piklu couldn't fathom how this disease could strike someone so young, and he couldn't even fully grasp the reality of it. If she didn't have an immediate operation, wasn't there a serious danger? No, he thought fiercely. Tina will live. She has to live. Why had he been so indifferent to Tina for so long? A wave of self-reproach washed over him. All night, Piklu tossed and turned, unable to find a moment's peace. Only Tina's face floated before his eyes, her usual vibrancy clouded with pain, like an autumn raindrop. What would she do? Piklu knew he had to go to Tina. If he didn't, how would she find the strength to recover? If anything happened to Tina, Piklu's heart ached. Tina had been intertwined with every aspect of his life. It was as if, for the first time, he truly understood that he would do anything to save Tina. Nothing else mattered. No, today he finally acknowledged how deeply Tina had resided in his heart all along. Today he realized it anew. His life without Dina, another nickname for Tina, would be like a fish out of water. He couldn't live. He had been like a directionless sailor, adrift in the sea, for so long, not realizing that the person he loved had been his anchor all along. The time had come for Tina to be taken into the operating theatre. He had gone, and according to the rules, he would be allowed to see everyone in the house afterward. Her eyes searched the faces around her. At this critical moment, wouldn't he come even once? She didn't want to face this without seeing him. Her only silent plea to God was to bring him to her, just once more. Tina saw everyone standing at a distance, her parents, aunt, uncle and others. But her gaze was fixed on one empty space, her eyes desperately searching for him. Tears welled up, blurring her vision. How long would it take to see Piklu? Suddenly, a familiar figure pushed through the crowd near Tina. Piklu rushed towards her like an arrow, taking her hands tightly in his. Tina, he said, his voice filled with emotion. Don't be afraid. I am here. You will be all right. Otherwise, who will I live for? Our whole life lies ahead of us. We can't lose so easily. Tina looked at Piklu, her gaze unwavering, as if after a long time she was truly seeing how much the person she loved had changed. Piklu, the cheerful and funny boy, now carried the weight and responsibility of his job in his eyes. Piklu spoke again, his voice earnest. Are you willing to be honest with me? Just promise me that you will come back to me as soon as you get well. You're not the only one who left their job there. I left everything for you. They said they wouldn't give me leave to come to you, so I quit. Just promise me. You will never lose the thief of your heart. That's how I will come back to all of us. Understand? Tina squeezed Piklu's hand and whispered, her voice weak but filled with love. Idiot boy, where would I go if you are by my side? I can even defeat death. Wait for me. I will come back right away. I have been waiting for you for so long. Tina was wheeled away on the trolley, her smiling face radiating a new light of hope. Piklu knew in his heart that his beloved Dina would return to him. She had to. So how did you feel about our story today? If you liked it, definitely share it, comment and tell us your opinion. Today's story writer is Nigam. Today's story was brought to life by Arindam in different roles: Trisha, Parth, Jhinuk, Pooja, Aritra and Surya.